Hi everybody. I know 2 days in a row, don't get too shocked. But like I said, I want to try to revive my channel if I can. My update today, now I'm not going to necessarily do things every day, but just so worked out 2 days in a row. Update today is going to be on the weight loss topic. I am still doing the keto diet, though as many say, it's not a diet, it's a way of living. And that's such a hard concept to wrap one's head around sometimes. It really is. I've had a lot of bumps in the road, lots of setbacks, way more than I care to admit, and definitely not proud of them. I still struggle a lot, but last 6 months I think have been overall pretty good. I'm going to try to insert some screenshots of my MyFitnessPal weight loss progress into the video. Hopefully that works out. It overall I think has went well. The thing that probably gave me the biggest setback last year was in August my husband got laid off. And that caused us to go into emergency mode with finances and being very, very careful with everything we did. And I didn't feel very good about going out and spending a bunch of money on me and for a special diet when we all know carbs are ultimately cheaper. Now I know in the long term, health-wise, they're not. They're more expensive by the time you add medical bills and all of that. However, I did not feel good about eating differently when the rest of the family was being very, very careful with everything. And it allowed me for that time to do what we needed to do. And while I wish I would have been more careful, I don't think I was terrible. I didn't go completely hog wild or crazy on sugar by any means. Obviously, we were trying to be careful. I have eaten better. I will not lie. There were some snacks made that I partook of that I really should not have, especially as somebody who is diagnosed diabetic. My diabetes only stays in remission as long as I am well behaved, and I have to be very well behaved. That's one thing that time also proved to me, is just because I may have a big slip inside down that slippery slope, the high blood sugars can return super, super fast. Ultimately, I suppose my body will always be that way. But the blessing of it is, as long as I eat keto and very low carb, it really isn't a problem. I don't need medications for my diabetes. I only take it for thyroid. So that's awesome. Back to what happened. What essentially went through last year is in August he was laid off, and that was stressful. You know, we relied on God and we got through, and God provided more, plenty of money. We had severance and stuff like that. We were fine, but it was still scary because you never know when that was going to end. And we got through that. He got a new job, which actually made just a smidgen more, and we're super, super happy about that. But that job came along. He got that offer within October, I think, and then he started at the beginning of November. So all in all, not too bad. And for that time period, like I said, I did not eat keto. It was not what I would call standard American diet, but it wasn't great either. Anyway, October 24th, and I remember that because it's my brother's birthday, I started cracking back down. My hubs and I had a big talk, and I was feeling really defeated. I didn't want to restart keto, to be honest with you. Not that I don't agree with it and believe that it works. I know it does. I just didn't want to do it, and it was that war of my flesh against knowing what I needed to do and finding the discipline to do it. I had a big talk with him, and I told him one of the things that I felt like was that no matter all these many diet attempts that I keep failing. And he pointed out something. He said, no, he said, it's not that you're failing each time, it's that every time you learn something new and you get better at it. And as he pointed out, I've had these setbacks and the like, but each time it gets better, and I lose more and I learn more about myself. I learn more what works and what doesn't. And that's very true. And I decided within myself to get back at it, and I did. And since that time frame, since the end of October, I've held to it mostly okay. There's been a couple small bumps there, but small compared to things of the past. All in all, I've been holding out pretty good. My weight loss curve is heading back down. It is not moving fast. It is moving all slow. I'll have jumps where maybe one week I may drop 5 pounds and then won't drop anything for quite a while. And what I usually do is I'll weigh each morning and then record if it's a new low. I don't always record every day, only if it's a new low. And hormones, fluctuations, and stuff like that, that's up and down. And I know not everybody can weigh every day. That's my thing. It's important to me to do that. It helps me keep accountable, but not everybody's okay with that. That's something I like to do. When I am doing well with my food logging and taking care of everything, I like to do that. All in all, my weight loss is trending back downwards. Unfortunately, because of my regains before even last year, I had gotten back up. I never reached my full high. My all-time high was 345. That was the worst it ever got a few years ago. And then after my big keto where I lost 104 pounds and was so thrilled with myself and I felt awesome, amazing. But after that, I cheated for the holidays. I thought I could handle it. I didn't. I did not handle it well. There's no real excuse I can offer other than my own personal failing, and then I just didn't do it. But I've updated about that before. You guys know about that. I regained a lot of that weight, unfortunately. Off the top of my head, I can't remember exactly where I tracked back up to after that, but I know there a few months ago, I think I was like in the 329 ballpark. So I hadn't reached that full high of 345 again, but wasn't fairly far from it either. And I've been trending back down. Right now, at this most recent weigh-in that was at my lowest low was, I think, 304.4. But again, I'm going to try to insert the weight loss charts. I'll try to insert one that shows 6 months and then one that shows a lesser time frame so you can see more clearly. Or maybe, no, I've got 2 screenshots that I took. One was my all-time MyFitnessPal, and then the other one was 6 months. That way you can kind of see a comparison. Because it's kind of interesting when you see on MyFitnessPal, because I've used it for a long time now, which is one of the reasons why I haven't switched even though it annoys me a lot. But I can see several years worth of my history, and you'll see this curve. It goes down, then it goes back up, and then it goes down further. That was my big loss. And then it's back up again, and now I'm going down. It really frustrates me with myself because I feel like a hideously disciplined person. I know many of us struggle with this kind of a thing, and I'm not the only one, but it doesn't make me any happier with myself. It is what it is. All I can do is, as they say, put my big girl britches back on and get back up and keep trying. And I'm not giving up. I'm still trying. I'm still fighting this battle on this road, and it's going to be a long road to health. Keto or low carb, whatever you want to call it, it makes me feel so much better, especially because I'm an insulin resistant diabetic person. I know some people may go for other things. Each to your own. I'm not going to pick on you if you don't do this particular thing. I don't do it because of the fad. I know it's become a fad or it's not a fad diet, but it's very popular. Put it that way. When I started doing it, it was gaining in popularity, but it was nowhere near as popular as it is now, so it's kind of amazing to me how much it's grown. But yet it's not, and the reason it's not is because it's so darn effective. It is crazy effective, especially for people like me who are very, very insulin resistant and have a history of diabetes, and in my case also hypothyroid. So, whatever you want to use, go for it. As long as you're working on it, more power to you. I do firmly believe that keto is by far the better one. I think it's completely safe. But again, each person has to do their own research and be convinced of that. It took me a long time to be convinced it was safe and okay, but once I went after it and started really doing it, just the results and how I felt made all the difference. My blood sugar numbers, all my lab works, and that all makes all the difference. So at any rate, that is where I currently am. My notebook here says if I count my weight down from my all-time high. It's down 40.6 pounds. But again, before I was down to 104 that I had lost. So my goal weight, I really don't know. I have always been a 5'6" person. I think I've shrank a little bit. And for me, and being a small framed person, a goal weight is probably in the ballpark of 135. I've seen 125, and I've also seen 155, but anywhere honestly under 150, I would be ecstatic after spending so long at my current weight. So I have no idea for a goal weight exactly. I think I usually plug in about 135 because it's kind of in the middle. We'll see. I have been walking more. I haven't done that in quite a while. When I lost the first major round of weight doing regular low carb, but it wasn't keto low carb, that particular weight loss attempt, I did a lot of a lot of walking and a lot of exercise. Where when I was doing full-blown keto and I lost my 104 pounds, I still worked out, but not very much. I let the keto do the work, and it's pretty darn effective, but I know I need to work out more. The thing that's recently convinced me to really push myself is I feel a loss of strength of my body in a few areas just from where I had gotten so big, nerve pain and things like that, and I know I need to strengthen my body. So I've been trying to work on doing that, and I know that that will also aid the weight loss as well. I think there's some people who are, phenomenally blessed that they can get by without working out, and that's awesome. I don't think I have to kill myself per se, but I think I need to do some. But at very least, even not if it's not about weight loss, it's for not losing the strength. There's certain weakness in my muscles and stuff like that that I get once in a while. I suspect that's kind of autoimmune related. My mom and I both have issues in that field, but I don't know for sure. I'm not going to explore that. Just going to keep going down the same road with trying to clean up my diet and do better with that. I will say in this last 6 months, while I have been doing a whole lot better, I could be doing even better. I do know I can clean it up better. The keto that I did before was very pristine, 0 cheats, and I was militant about not eating a non-keto food. Where lately I haven't been what I would call militant in any way about doing that, but I have tried to be careful. I've slipped in a few things that are not keto, but have still kept my carb count low, like a little bits of sweet potato, stuff like that. That is not a keto safe food, technically, but a little bit of it here and there, I've been like, it's probably not a big deal, but it does slow my weight loss down. So the past week or so too, I've been really trying to crack down on that and clean that up. I'm also trying to be very careful with my food log, that I'm honest with it, because if I'm not honest with it, what's the point in spending any time doing it? There's really none. And if there's one thing that's always been true with every weight loss attempt I've ever made, is I need to have a food log. It just has to be. So some people are able to lose without it. I have been able to even maintain without it, but I've never managed to pull off true good weight loss without maintaining a food log. I don't know if it's my personality or what. Regardless, that is where I am. That is my update. I'm sorry for maybe those who hoped I'd lost a whole lot more or something like that. I know I get excited when I watch other people's weight loss videos, and I want to see wonderful success for them too. And sometimes it's a little, they've slipped up too, and you're like, wow, it's just so hard for everybody. But it's a hard thing to die to your flesh and tackle that. It's not an easy thing, but we have to keep fighting and we have to keep trying. I know some of you watch my videos specifically because you relate to that and you understand the struggle and you're there with me doing it too. I get it. I understand. It is not easy no matter what diet you do. I do think some people sometimes push keto as a magic pill or a panacea cure-all. It is not that. You still have to have discipline and you still have to find a freedom from gluttony. It helps you. It is a wonderful tool in your toolbox, but it is ultimately a tool, and if you don't pick it up and use it, it will not help you. And you still have to die to gluttony. Gluttony is ultimately a sin, and you still have to get away from that. It is one of my biggest struggles, always has been, and probably always will be, even if I get these things in line. So I am praying over it. I know that God is getting me through each day. He helps me. He reminds me when I'm feeling low and like giving up and eating a whole package of cookies or something. He usually does something that reminds me, hey, it's worth it. Sometimes he'll give me little reminders of my own health and my body. That food's not worth it. There was about 3 weeks ago, I think, I was laying in bed and had some weird, crazy sensations in my body that I did not like. And it was because I had eaten poorly the night before. And it reminded me, no matter what, it ain't worth it to eat that junk, to eat sugar. Sugar is really ultimately pure poison. And it is not worth it. It is not worth shortening my life. And it is not worth leaving me in a state that I'm unable to play and do the many household things I want to do. I see my house all the time. Of course, some of my videos here are housekeeping related and homekeeping. If you only knew the things that I wish I could get done, but I don't feel like getting done because of my weight. Oh, it's so frustrating. I'm doing what I can, and I'd like to say the best I can do, though I'm sure I could do better. But it holds you back in so much of your life. You know, being a very large, morbidly obese person is not easy, but we have to fight that. I watched the episodes of that 600-pound life on TLC, or actually I get them off of Hulu because we don't have cable. But anyway, I've watched a lot of those and seen a lot of parallels, and I don't like what I see, and it's a good motivator to help me get things in control before I ever, God forbid, we get there on how far, because the people struggle so much in their mobility, and that's terrifying to me. My mobility is hard at my weight. At 304 right now, I find stairs murder. I find so many things difficult. I don't know how they make it. But I know some of them haven't. Some of them have died quite young. And obesity, especially morbid obesity, it's a killer. Diabetes is a killer. It will take you out. The people in my family, the things it's done, I have every incentive not to allow the whole being overweight thing continue. I have every incentive. Looking at my beautiful children, I do not want to, be taken away because of stupid choices that I've made with what I've eaten. Like a lot of Christians, we have to remember our body is a temple of the Holy Spirit, and we need to take a lot better care of it than what we do. And I am number one on needing to do that. I have to do so much better. I feel like I'm getting there. I feel like I am making progress. My progress is not perfection. I don't know that it ever will be. I am not giving up though. I'm still going to fight that fight, and I hope that if you guys are having the same struggles, that you keep fighting with me. Keep hanging in there. Feel free to comment on my videos and say where you are in your struggles. I will continue to try to do updates. Sometimes I really dread the weight loss updates more than about any other because I don't like talking about it. Who likes to talk about it? And out yourself is big. I have had comments very negative before on YouTube that made me cry for a very long time. It's not a pleasant thing to do, but it's worth it if it encourages any one of you all in your weight loss too, and fighting the battle to get better health. Because ultimately, to me, it does not matter what I look like. It matters about the health and regaining health for my family. That's what I care about the most by far. So hopefully you guys are there with me. Keep fighting that fight. If you're watching me for weight loss reasons, don't give up. And if you have not considered keto, look into it. I won't tell you to just straight up do it. Look into it. I wouldn't want you or anyone to start it without looking into it and really understanding why and how it works. Because if you don't, then you're probably not going to stick with it, and it won't help you very much. But if you really research it, look into it, figure out why in your situation, you might find it's helpful to you. So no pressure by any means. I am not in any way benefiting from telling people that or steering people to that. I will tell you there is nothing you need to buy, no books you need to read. There's things that are a blessing to read, but nothing you have to do. People are always out there to take advantage of you, but there's nothing you have to buy for that. It's just simply a different way of eating, and it's lowering the carbs and getting them out of your life because they're not that good for you. And the sugar especially is poison. So I strongly urge those of you who are watching, consider it, especially if you're diabetic or have any insulin resistance. Weight loss aside, it's worth it for that alone. So consider that. And from there, I'll probably try not to bug y'all too much about that. I just want you to know what's really working for me, helping the blood sugars and helping me stay off of things like metformin and other meds. I'm sure I would probably be on more by now if it wasn't for that. So at any rate, you guys keep fighting the good fight. Have a blessed day.